Hey there, Unsolved Mysteries fans. Wayward Legacy back at you with another video. So I want to do the case of Chad Langford. I always thought this was a pretty interesting case. Just kind of because of how it went down, and it has to deal with the Army and the government and all that. So, and I kind of have some theories, or a couple theories in my head of what I think happened to him. So, I've got Unsolved Mysteries wiki up on, right up in front of me, and I'm going to read the details of the case, and then I'll talk about what I think happened, and give a couple theories that I thought about what happened to him. So, Chad Langford was an SPC military officer at the Redstone Arsenal near Huntsville, Alabama, who was found near death outside of his police unit on March 12, 1992. At around 7:40 p.m., Langford radioed to his dispatch that he required assistance due to a violent motorist who he had stopped to help that started to turn on him. When officers arrived to help, they immediately came upon Langford's MP armband, a portable radio, or his portable radio, and a military ID card arranged in the middle of the road, full of unknown fingerprints that weren't Langford's own. About a quarter mile down the road, an officer found Langford outside his patrol car. Langford had the lanyard from his handgun wrapped around his ankles, handcuffs on his left wrist, the name Robert written on his hand, the unit's radar cable wrapped around his neck, and his .45 caliber handgun beneath his left shoulder. He was shot in the head and was barely alive. Langford was rushed to a Huntsville hospital where he succumbed to his injury a few hours later. The Army ruled his death a suicide, which shocked and outraged his parents, who rejected the idea that Langford had killed himself. His father claimed that in January 1992, Chad told him that he was doing an undercover drug-related Army work and that he had received several death threats. The Army reviewed Chad's case for 4 months and claimed that he was not involved in any undercover work, but did have psychological problems. The Army also claimed that his recent breakup was a motive he had to kill himself, but his ex-girlfriend Roxanne claimed that he broke up with her, which would have meant that the breakup was his idea and that he would have likely been happier after it. She said that he broke up with her because he was focused on his work and he knew that he couldn't dedicate enough time to spend with her. Roxanne believed that someone had influenced Chad to break up with her in order to keep her safe and away from whatever unsafe doings Chad was connected to. She last saw him 5 days before his death at the Bay's nightclub, where he had apparently changed his lifestyle, was dressed in black, and was hanging out with rough-looking people that she didn't know. Some believe that his change in behavior was related to a CIA botched robbery that Chad took part in. However, his family rejected the idea that Chad was involved. His parents stated that, sorry, I kind of lost myself for a minute here. Okay, his parents stated that they thought other people had orchestrated the crime and wanted Chad to be involved in it, but he refused. Before his death, Chad had called several of his friends, no family members, and said goodbye to them. Langford's relatives believe that he would have called them to say goodbye if he wanted to commit suicide. The psychological autopsy stated that Chad had a low self-esteem and wanted to create a new image for himself, even if it meant suicide. The inquiry claims that Chad's death was based on a methodical planning, including the story of a stranded vehicle, the different shots fired, and his suicide. According to Chad's family, the evidence gathered from the scene did not match the suicide scenario. There were no bullets found in or around the scene, and there was no evidence that he handled a gun. But fingerprints found on his radio and handcuffs weren't checked. Also, they did not include how Chad ended up on top of his gun or how 2 of his bullets ended up in his car, if this was an apparent suicide. Chad's family believed that he was part of the base to meet someone about his undercover work. They believed that at least 2 men whom Chad knew shot and killed him in order to silence him about his secretly related drug-related work. Chad's death remains a mystery. His father holds a $25,000 reward for anyone with important information that brings this case to a close. Now we got some suspects here, or a suspect. Within a mile of where Chad was found, MP stopped 2 men in 2 different cars at around the time Chad had died. Surprisingly, neither of the men's names were written down, and they were not questioned about Chad's death. An informant claimed that one of the men's names was Robert, the name found on Chad's hand. Yeah, so results unsolved. After the broadcast, Chad's death was reopened by the Army. The results from the new investigation were never known and never made public. So that is an interesting. This is definitely an interesting case. Basically, what I think happened is that he was murdered, and that it was related to this whole drug operation that he was involved in. Perhaps maybe people found, like the people that he was working with, somehow found out that he was involved with the Army, and then probably somehow tracked him down, and then shot him and killed him, and then tried to make it look like a suicide. And just the fact that his gun, that he was on top of his gun and stuff, like there's so many different things which are unknown, like how he landed on top of his gun or anything, like something like that, I think probably what he did is he was probably trying to defend himself, and then whoever it was probably quickly had either had handcuffs or quickly reached and grabbed Chad's handcuffs, and then like handcuffed Chad, and his gun fell out of his hand, and then that's probably how, and then that's probably how Chad fell on top of his gun. That's how I think that went down. And yeah, the government, likes to keep things hidden and kind of secretive. So the fact that they kind of denied that Chad was involved in this kind of thing doesn't really surprise me. They like to do that. They like to make they like to keep things secretive and top secret and all that, especially in the Army when it's stuff like that. So yeah, and I think that these people that were in two different cars were most likely involved, especially like if this guy's name was Robert or something. I think, that's what I think happened. That he was working with these guys. They somehow tracked him down and killed him. That's what I think happened. So yeah, I really don't have much else to talk about this case. I pretty much have covered everything. I've given my theory now. I'll probably do another video after this one, so look out for that one. And I may do a WWE 2K15 stream tonight. Not 100% sure, but I probably will. And yeah, definitely another Unsolved Mysteries video, and I just gotta figure out what case I want to do next, and then I might do a wrestling video tonight too. I just gotta figure out what I want to talk about. So yeah, if you like this video, give a like, subscribe, comment. We can discuss your theories in the comments, or talk about the case or different cases or whatever you'd like to talk about relating to Unsolved Mysteries. I enjoy that, so that's pretty much all I gotta say right now, and I'll see you in the next one. Wayward out.